Hello there. Um, Today I'm kind of excited. It's my wife and I. It's our 3-year anniversary. We've been married for 3 years. We've been together for a whole lot longer. Well, that comes up in March. Um, I think it's a total of like 10 years. So yeah. Well, let's see. 6 years when we got married, so 6 plus 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9. I don't know. Not too sure on it. Um, she's the one that keeps track of the long run of it all. Anyways, let's talk about something else that's in the news right now, and that's marriage. And that seems to always be in the news. And I don't have my information pulled up here because I'm getting ready to go back in the bedroom and lay down with my wife, and then tomorrow we're gonna go out, and because technically, even though it's our anniversary right now, it's 3 a.m., 2 a.m. maybe, I don't know, and we're gonna go hopefully eat and watch a movie and enjoy ourselves. Um, so yeah, but for now, I want to do a discussion. What better time to discuss marriage? And everyone seems to have their own opinion on what marriage is, and it just seemed a little weird. So, from my understanding, my gathering of marriage from childhood, and no, I understand marriage is a term. It's an English term. It is not a God-given term. And I've been hearing that a lot lately. Is marriage is linked to religion, which is not 100% true. Yes, there is linkage between marriage and religion later on, but um, what religions are we talking about? Because Christianity only dates back 2,000 years, and then we got Buddhism that dates back, what is it, 6,000? And then we got other religions, we got other countries that date back further than that speak of unionships. And, unionships, which would later on be defined as marriage, and marriage being the English word that we use to define, to describe what that unionship is, as there are with any language, a word to describe what a unionship is, and trying to basically place a monopoly on the term marriage, which is an English term to describe unionship, and try to monopolize it and say it's a religious statement is false, because if anything, shouldn't you go back to the original Hebrew and gather the term from the Hebrew text for what unionship is, if you want it to remain religious? I mean, that's just something I'm throwing out there. If you want it to remain religious, don't try. That'd be like saying, well, Mexico is predominantly Catholic, so you take their unionship term, whatever that is. I don't speak Spanish, and you then say, well, we claim it in the name of Catholicism. You can't do that. I mean, you can. You can say, yeah, we claim it, but that's doesn't really work that way. So, in my opinion, marriage is just the unionship between two people. Um, and then we get into this stuff now where, well, why can't we have, why do the gays, this is how it's put, why do the gays want marriage? They're just going to ruin a Christian establishment when it wasn't a Christian establishment. Okay, let's put it this way: unionship has been around. Unionship like this has been around prior to Christianity. See, that's the problem. And I was watching a video on it the other day, last night actually. I found a new channel. Oh, I can't think of his name. Can't think of his name. Called of Dusty. And I was watching his video, and he had a really interesting video called "Almost Became a Christian Again." And in it, he said this is the mindset of Christians, and I believe this is also the mindset of a lot of atheists, that there's only two sides of it, and there's either you're an atheist or you're a Christian. But there's either I've said it before, you're either a theist or an atheist. Or I got my fingers backwards, so you're either an atheist or a theist. And theists branch out into thousands of different, and a religion can crop up every day. Religions do crop up every day in little areas where people are off. In my family, on my dad's side, I reckon there's a branch of Baptist church in the county that I was raised in that, was invented by a cousin of my dad's. So they don't claim to be Southern Baptists. They don't claim to be regular Baptists or Free Will Baptists, but they are Baptists of something or something other, and they got a whole congregation. Originally, it started off as just family members, but then it's grown into other like-minded individuals. So, and that was created during the late 70s. And, as far as I know, they're still up there. That's a part of my family I don't really talk to, not because of their religious views. It's just my family's weird. I barely knew my grandfather, which made me really sad. But, there's a new religion every day. We used to joke about it in school. One day I might have my friend Butters on here. We used to sit in our our careers class, and say we're going to write our own Bible and come up with our own religion. And we had super ultra Jesus Mecha Godzilla something thing. It was just like all powerful beings thrown together and mixed into one, and it had a pope system, and it had a whole story about how he had came and fought the pope, killed him, turned back time and brought him back to show his power. It was very anti-Catholicism heavy. But that would be fun to find that paperwork. But again, there's too many religions out there. There's too many religions out there to say that one came up with unionship or marriage. And again, marriage is the English term to describe a unionship. Now, I can understand someone say, well, it wouldn't have been entered into the English language had it not been for unions. Well, the English language dates back prior to England. That's another one you can look up on Vsauce. I'm dropping these channels and sending people places. I can't recall certain names anymore like I used to be able to. That'll be for another video. I was actually talking to someone on YouTube about this earlier, brain damage. You can't have any certain religion claiming that they've invented unionship. Yeah, they can claim it, but there's no evidence behind it that they are the ones that created unionship. Yes, Christianity has only been around for 2,000 years. Yes, they claim that their God created at the beginning of time, but then what about all the other religions? Do they get a say in on it? And that's where Christians fail to understand that there are other belief systems out there, and blah, I think a lot of you follow me despite the fact that it seems like you might not. But again, like I said, I believe people are more intelligent than people tend to think, despite some of the most retarded shit I've read online in the last few days. Not on not on YouTube, on Facebook. So, and that's not at any certain people that I know. These are people I barely know who are posting things. Because I actually accidentally offended a friend of mine this morning when I checked his facts on something, and I'm sorry. I have explained to him, sorry, it's out of habit, because I've gotten to the point I don't trust anything that anybody posts, and I don't even check the name anymore. To who the poster is, I'm just like, what? They're posting this article? Is this true? They're making a statement and claim. Is this true? I'll Google it. I'll search it. I'll have to find it 7 different places before I declare it possibly true. And so, yeah. And it gets off on offending people, and I don't mean to do that. And I know he might watch my videos. I know he's subscribed to me. If you're watching it, Zach, again, nothing against you. I didn't even know that you had posted that until after I came back and was typing back. Anyways, so no, religions can't. They're all going to say, everyone's going to say that they've done this, they've done that. Unionship has been around. You can go to these tribes that have no religions. These little tribes that haven't been touched by mankind. And they have unionships that take place in those. It's called a marriage by all intents and purposes of English terms, and we call it a husband and a wife or whatever. That's something I can say that maybe religion might have it on, because when it comes down to tracking down husband and wife, that comes down onto being something I'm having a little difficulties finding if it's a separation from marriage. And besides, I don't think it would be proper to call them husband and wives homosexuals anyways if they do get married. And yeah, this is where this is kind of going into is whether or not homosexuals should have the right to get married. Obviously, I think they should. There's certain things that we're going to be learning in psychology that proves in the past maybe they shouldn't have had certain rights in the past, but we're getting up to a point of human evolution where it might not even be something that we have to worry about. And I don't know enough on that to speak on that. That's just something interesting that we've been enticed to know that we're going to be learning, and we'll see what comes of it when we get to that section. I'm not going to jump ahead of everything else to go, whoa, let's see this. I'm going to wait to find out. And it shouldn't be too long. And obviously, when I find the answer, I'm definitely going to do a video on it, because it sounds like it's going to be intensely interesting. But I think it would be degrading to tell gay couples, yeah, you're a man and a man. Well, who's going to be the wife and who's going to be the husband? No. I think just say they're married. Maybe that's what the religious groups can hold on to, is husband and wife. But then it comes down to questions like, what about my wife and I? We're both atheists. Does it still count, husband and wife, as being a unionship between man and wife? When it's atheist, without God, a godless marriage. And that's one of the things. We did have a preacher at our wedding, because at the time no one knew. This was 3 years ago. I've only come out in the last 2. My wife has only come out in the last 6 months. And ta-da! This is where we're at now. So, it's whether or not a man and a man or a woman and a woman can get married. I believe that, yes, marriage, it's a term, it's an English term, predates, I won't say it predates Christianity, but it predates the influence of Christianity on English, because the Angles, that's what they were called, Angles were the ones that invented English, and this was before Christianity had been infused into their society. So you're taking a pre-existing word, then moving a religion into it and saying, well, that religion owns that pre-existing word. No, no, no. Can't. That's like me saying, let's come up with a real quick example. Saturday Night Live. Okay? That's like me saying, I've built a cult following on YouTube to the point I'm really big. And I go to a country that has been showing Saturday Night Live fairly recently, but I say, no, see, I came up with that term. That term belongs to my channel, when it doesn't. So, it's a very messy analogy there, but, and that's because I'm coming up with it off the top of my head. But I do think it would be degrading to force people to use terms such as husband and wife if they are a gay couple. I don't know. Should new terms be invented for a gay couple? Should it be husband and husband, wife and wife? Or should they just stick with partner? You know, they're married, but this is their partner, which, you know, I think when you say partner, it does carry a more loving, conditioned way than when you say husband and wife anyways, because partner makes it sound so equal, even though a lot of times there's not many equal things. Like I've mentioned, my bad health, my wife works 2 jobs, I don't. That's not really equal. So, you know, and people are saying, well, why not call it a civil union? Well, because civil unions exist. That's what marriage is. It's a civil union. Again, I say if you want to claim a term, use the original Hebrew term. Because that's what it was written in, wasn't it? You got the original Hebrew term of Yahweh for God. You know, go back to that if you want. Just go back to all Hebrew. Again, I'm not attacking. I'm just saying, staking claim to things that were in existence prior to the involvement of your group is seems to be a major fallacy, and then very flawed logic, and I'm getting hyper. It's really dawned on me about today and everything being 3 years, and I'm very excited. The damn cat's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? But, you know, yeah. So, marriage, let the gays get married. You know, it's not going to destroy America. It's not. Another hint, it won't destroy America as long as it's the men getting married. Dun, dun, dun. Again, when I get to that part in psychology, we'll have a discussion, and I'll tell you what we've discussed in psychology and what I think about it. Because I'm just dropping a hint that in a psychological terms. Oh man, I don't want to go into it right now. But anyways, just hold on to that. I know we all know there's going to be, if the channel picks up steam, there's going to be questions down there in the bottom. Like, what are you talking about? Only the men. What am I talking about? Well, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I barely know. The surface has been a little bit picked away. It's kind of like already. It's a translucent surface, slightly translucent. You know, I can make out the thickest lines on the other side, and little bits of it has been picked away, so I can see the picture, but I don't see it yet. So again, I personally think, and I think under any instances, that seeing that America was built on equality, uh, you know, to get away from the religious persecution, um, to which bring I'm going to have to come back up on something. I'm going to have to clear up something that I may have said on here that could be false. No, I'm thinking I haven't said it yet, but we'll see. Let's see, what was I going to say? Well, anyway, since my brain's gotten sidetracked, we'll go on to that. There's a website, Atheist Empire, that I've gathered quotes from supposedly atheistic presidents, and some of these quotes are false. And it came to my attention when I found out that Abraham Lincoln never did say, he never did say, or write down or anything that you can fool the people all the time, or some of the people all the time, however that goes. That was never said. People hold on to it and say that he did, despite having knowledge that he didn't, because they say it sounds Lincoln-esque. Lincoln-esque, yeah. So I went back, and then, surely enough, there's a lot of things on there that they're contributing to other people that he may have said. Again, if I've brought up any of these facts, and if I've pointed you towards the Atheist Empire website, I'm so sorry. There may be false information, and maybe drop them a line, tell them that they need to check some of their information, make sure that they have it factual, because I would really hate to spread non-factual information. They claim that these presidents were atheists, and I've recently They definitely said Lincoln was an atheist, and I found out he was a non-denominational person. He did believe in a form of God, but not in a Christian God. Which you have two Christians, that would mean that he's an atheist, but at the same time, the atheist, that would mean he's still a theist. Unless you're one of those atheists I mentioned back at the beginning, where you're just as bad as Christians in believing that there's only two sides. There's your side of atheism and then Christianity, because that doesn't balance out. You can't have atheism without theism. And theism is expansive, and atheism is also expansive. But you can't say, well, it's atheism against one theistic view. No. Again, I'm hyper. Again, conclusion. I had some wrong facts. Hope I straightened those up for you. Again, look, that's what, as soon as I found out that was fake, I was like, I knew I read that somewhere else. I heard it, and it was even made more popular through Bob Dylan. And I was just like, oh man, Bob Dylan helped spread a falsehood about Lincoln, and that's kind of weird. But I like that song. I'm trying to remember what the song was, because it was a song about the end of the world, and he just wakes up and it's the end of the world, and there's a guy in a sewer, and it's crazy. But yeah. So marriage is a term not owned by Christianity, no matter how much you want to believe, no matter how much you squint and concentrate. You can't say that marriage was a term or a concept made up by Christianity, nor can you say it was made up by any other theological views, because you can find it not only in history prior to Christianity or a lot of other religions, but you can find it in non-religious groups that have not been touched by English or Christianity or any religion whatsoever. It's a unionship, and just because we have an English term for unionship doesn't mean that, well, might as well be like saying, because there's all kinds of words for fish. I know fish in Japanese is sakana, and that's like saying, I don't know. That's like saying that's incorrect. You can't say sakana. You have to say fish. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting mixed up. I'm hyper right now. Very sorry about that. But I'm gonna end this video, and I hope you all enjoyed. Hope I've made some sense. Again, I would have had information here, but still yet, where's the adventure in life if you don't go out and search for it? You know, that's not me trying to cop out. That's me saying, you know, I shouldn't have to, you know, if I have the information to give to people, sometimes people will just take off with that information like I did with the Lincoln quote. And I didn't really investigate back then. So I've held on to this, believing that this is true. Some of those quotes are real from Lincoln, but there was a lot more. Lincoln was, yeah, it's also President's Day, so this works out perfectly. Wow. Discussion of marriage on my 3-year anniversary, and Lincoln on President's Day. Fascinating. And, so I've just had fun today. We've been in the room watching all kinds of videos on YouTube, reading up things, watching about I think the Dr. Kaku, string theory guy, quantum physics guy. You know, it's been a hell of a lot of fun. She's actually in there watching SVU right now. Why film this? So we can, I guess, go to sleep to a movie about a serial killer who wins the lottery. Anyways, let me finish up this video. I don't have a sign off. I realize that. After watching tons of videos, everyone has a sign off, and I don't know when a sign off develops. So I'm just going to stick with my usual so far: thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, comment, like me or hate me. See ya.